refreshed with a outfit change and everything for the start of day 3. So yeah, day 3, woke up to an absolute beautiful scene. Loch Laggan looking resplendent, mist just coming over it, everything very blue, absolutely beautiful. Cold night, but slept really well, really comfy in my sleeping bag. Aid was the same, no problems at all. Didn't get impaled by any loose branches dropping down, so bonus. But yeah, woke up and it was absolutely stunning, really, really nice. Can't believe you're all packed up. Got the tent packed up. For some reason on this trip, I was constantly really slow getting my stuff packed away. Aid was just waiting for me all the time. I'm never the quickest to pack up because I don't know, just don't really see the point. You know, I'm on my holidays. Why rush? But yeah, I was just really slow considering how early I actually wake up as well. I'm usually awake before 6 and I was on this trip. But yeah, it just takes me forever to get going. Strange. Mist creeping its way over Loch Laggan. So started off on our way, we saw a big group of deer again. Footage wasn't great, but I've stuck it in there anyway. I just love seeing deer. I know they are all over Scotland and you know they're not exactly a rare sight, but for me, I still think they're brilliant to see. It was great, always is. We found some footprints as well, hoof prints, whatever, very close to the tent. So yeah, they'd obviously been around having a nosy. Saw a few of them further down the track as well. But yeah, I love deer, they're great. Walking alongside Loch Laggan, there was a lot of highlights on the trip. I mean, the majority of it was one big highlight, but this was really lovely. A lot of it due, I think, to the weather, the way it was. It was just such a calm, peaceful, tranquil morning. It was absolutely beautiful. Trudging along, snow was pretty deep again, and this time we had no vehicle tracks to follow. Nothing had been down alongside Loch Laggan quite clearly. So yeah, it was, you know, good. Snow that deep, which doesn't seem much. In fact, it might have been more than that. But yeah, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it does make it a lot tougher going, as I said about yesterday. But yeah, everything was just brilliant white everywhere. This mist just easing over the loch. It was amazing. Found a nice little place to stop and fill up on some water. We'd actually got some water from the loch the night before. Boiled it thoroughly because it's definitely not something I like to do. Not really something I'd recommend. I'm sure it's fine, and never ended up with I don't know, the trots or whatever. But yeah, definitely not something I'd do if I can help it. One of the things I would say on this trail is the places to stop for water were surprisingly few and far between. Is probably stretching it, but just not as many. And quite a lot of them you saw the water flowing, and it was a bit of a murky colour, which I'm sure there's nothing wrong with it, but you know, you always like to be drinking from clear sources. Always boil, use tablets, use a filter. Do that anyway, but yeah, there was fewer places than expected to actually sort out the water. Really was a beautiful stretch this, alongside Laggan. The mountains across the loch were just kind of peeking over the top, peeking out at you. Made some really nice photos. The footage, I don't think quite does it justice, the video footage. It looks, you know, it looks nice on some of them, but when you were actually there, I mean, I think that's the same with all footage that you take. Obviously, it's not quite the same as being there. But yeah, the footage on this doesn't quite show how amazing it looked, you know, when you were actually there. It was absolutely amazing. Really, really cool. Aid cricked his neck. Painkiller time. As I think I mentioned in the previous videos, forestry tracks can be a bit dull, I think, in, you know, just normal, nice weather. But when they're covered in snow, it's a different thing entirely. This whole section next to Laggan was, yeah, just covered, so you didn't even know you were on a forestry track. It was just lovely, really was. We didn't see a single person walking alongside Loch Laggan, and to be fair, didn't see a single other person or didn't meet another person who was walking the East Highland Way while we were there, which might not sound surprising given the time of the year, I suppose, and the weather conditions. But I don't know, it just always seems slightly funny to me. When I walked the Great Glen, same again, I didn't see a single person walking the Great Glen, which really surprised me. Really, really did surprise me. As far as I'm aware, I think it's second behind the West Highland Way in terms of popularity and how many people do it each year. So yeah, that really shocked me. This one, not so much maybe, you know, it's not an official route. But yeah, just always seems slightly strange to me that there's not other people walking it. I know there's plenty of people out there who thoroughly enjoy walking in the snow, so yeah, but no, had it all to ourselves, which was great, brilliant. Pit stop. Snow's starting again. Joy. The video or the clip you just saw there with the water going underneath the bridge, if you're walking the official route of the East Highland Way, then you won't actually go across that bridge. This was our first deviation from the official path as described by Kevin in his book. The reason for this really was we'd spoken the night before about where we wanted to get to on day 3, and we'd decided that the best bet for us was to try and get to, I know I'm going to say this wrong, Dalna Bothy, which was a few miles beyond Laggan. Well, I think it's 4 or 5 miles beyond Laggan. So essentially we had a good bit of mileage to do, pretty much 20 miles. So it didn't help me messing about getting me stuff packed away either. But anyway, yeah, we essentially decided to just carry on the path that goes directly next to Loch Laggan. In Kevin's book and on the Harvey's East Highland Way map, there's a it just kind of shoots off, takes you up a bit, and from what I can gather, just takes you onto a higher track. This, I would say, probably saved us a good 1 to 2 hours. Maybe not quite that much, but it was going to save us a bit of time. As I say, we wanted to make it for the Bothy. The reason really for wanting to go to the Bothy was just, as I've mentioned before, how difficult we were finding it to actually find places to wild camp. It was really tough. One of the things I wanted to do on these videos was kind of point out and show you on the maps exactly all the different places that you'd be able to wild camp if you were planning on doing this trip yourself. But I've pretty much got nothing to tell you because we found so few places. I am going to put in where we did camp. I'll do a little clip on that. But yeah, it was just really tough. Might be easier when the snow's not there, I'm sure it would be. But yeah, we just figured our best bet was to get to the Bothy. So this was the plan. As I say, it was the first deviation of the trip, but I'll tell you more about the other deviations a little later. I'm actually a great believer in making a trip your own. So I'm not really a purist, if that's the right phrase, for, getting a route and doing something a little bit different with it. When I did the West Highland Way, was probably a really good case in point. I bought a book by a guy I really like reading called Ronald Turnbull. He's done a book called Not the West Highland Way, which if you haven't read it, and I'd lift it up and show it to you, but it's one of these things where I've borrowed it to someone and I can't for the life of me remember who I've borrowed it to. So yeah, it's one of my books that's gone walkabout. I'm sure somebody will pass it back to me a couple of years down the line. But yeah, Not the West Highland Way, fantastic. Essentially, Ronald's point is that, you walk the West Highland Way, but you don't actually go up any mountains. Few parts of the route are not the most exciting. So there's deviations that you can make to, liven it up a bit. So yeah, I did that. I went up Ben Lomond, which seemed to me to make a lot of sense since it runs kind of exactly parallel with the actual East Highland Way. I keep doing this with the West Highland Way anyway. So I went up Ben Lomond. I went up Ben Louis, which was a absolutely phenomenal detour. Beautiful, beautiful mountain. Quite tough going in places to get there, but well worth the effort. And then even more so, I went into the Memoirs, did part of the Ring of Steel, as it's called, and that was simply one of my favourite days on the hills ever. It was just out of this world, absolutely out of this world. Loved every minute of it. So yeah, I am a believer in, you know, taking a route and not being too worried about, you know, going off and kind of, I'm reluctant to use the phrase bastardising it, but I suppose that's what I am doing. But yeah, no, as I say, no disrespect to Kevin at all. It's a fantastic route that he's done there, but yeah, I wasn't too concerned about making a few changes to it. But yeah, more of which later. So, song in my head now, man. That what? Celine Dion song from Titanic. Can't get that out of my head now. What's going on?
What, I will always love you?
Yeah.
Where did you get that from?
I don't know. Hate it. Honestly, does me head in so much, this thing where I just get a tune stuck in my head, and every time it's like the worst tune ever. And that Celine Dion has got to be up there for that title. It's just so weird, and I just get it stuck in my head, and it's there for ages. I wouldn't mind. I'm like a rock and metal head, really. It's always these ridiculous, dreadful, terrible tunes. They just worm their way in there. Bizarre. Yeah, the beach is down there, but it's pretty covered, I think. Just snow everywhere, isn't there? Yeah. So moved away from Loch Laggan and went through a absolutely, I want to say delightful section next to the River Patak. Just really, really nice. Overhanging trees, snow obviously everywhere. Clearly nobody at all had passed through there. No sign of footprints or any disturbance whatsoever in the snow. It was, yeah, really cool walking. The weather was glorious at this point, just so nice. The sun was kind of hazy in the sky. We were getting a little bit of very light snowfall, but nothing major. It was just, yeah, really nice. We were headed for a place on the map called Figor. Got to quite a main road for this neck of the woods anyway. And got to a gate where the route said to go through, which was actually locked. So started walking down the road, because I saw on the map there was another place further down that we could get up. Not ideal, road walking rarely is. But anyway, from the road, we saw a lady like in a house, and there was an honesty box on the front of a drive. She gave us a wave, gave us a hello, and anyway, we ended up going up and having a chat with her. The lady's name was Robin, and she was an absolute superstar. Honest, you could not meet a nicer lady. Chatted to her for a while. we mentioned about the lock gate down there, and she said, don't worry about that, I'll show you a way how to get up through the back of my house, back onto the route. She said she did this all the time with people coming by doing the East Highland Way. Honest, she was a gem. She was so nice. With the honesty box, she had some Rocky Road bars, which we, straight away, Aidan, my eyes lit up. I love a bit of Rocky Road. She bought out these things. I'm not kidding. I mean, it was like that big for this Rocky Road. She charged us £1. I'm sure that's what she charges everyone, not just us. And I actually, well, not long after we left Robin, I felt so guilty because all we gave was £1, and it was worth miles more than £1. And yeah, pair of tight asses, we just gave her £1. We should have given her well more. Ridiculous. But anyway, I'm pretty certain I've got some footage of the Rocky Road, so you'll see that later on. It was phenomenal, honest, so good. But anyway, yeah, Robin weaved us through this just snow, because there's no way we'd have found our way through it. Weaved us through, got us back onto the path, and she actually walked with us for a while. One of the things she was saying was that she's got plans to build as she called it, a bothy, kind of next to the house, so people can stay there who are doing the East Highland Way, which would be absolutely brilliant. We gave her loads of encouragement to do that. It's a great idea. And yeah, Robin, I don't know if you might be watching this, but honest, best Rocky Road I have ever tasted, and I'm not just saying that. It was phenomenal, and you're a superstar.
You can do it, Aid. Go on, man. First bit of ascent you've had all day. What were you saying? It's all light has never failed me.
I kind of love that last clip because we'd literally just been discussing how my piezo, I think that's how you say it, piezo igniter on my Primus stove had honestly lasted 2 seconds. I think I used it and lit it twice, and it conked out on me, just finished. And Aid was wittering on about how his had never failed on him. So yeah, dead chuff with it. And then he took it out of his bag. It wasn't like brilliant. Without doubt, one of the loveliest vistas, I guess you'd call it, that we looked out over. This was a magnificent section. It was kind of on the outskirts, a place on the map called Blackwood, which kind of led us from where we met Robin over towards Laggan, as in Laggan the place, not Laggan Loch, obviously. But yeah, really stunningly gorgeous, absolutely phenomenal. Snow was really deep in this bit as well. Well, I don't say really deep, not like up to your thighs or anything, but yeah, made it slow work, slow going, but worth it. It was beautiful, really beautiful. How many more times am I going to say beautiful in this video?
Absolutely beautiful.
Got out of the Blackwood section and the snow started to fall again. Not exactly a blizzard, well, definitely not a blizzard, but fairly heavy. We weren't quite at Laggan yet, it wasn't far away, but we were already fairly late in the day. Well, I say late in the day, it was gone 3 o'clock. And we still had fair ways to go to get to the bothy through what I believe is one of the roughest sections of the trail, but also one of the most beautiful. Again, I'm going back to what Sebastian said in his videos and what I saw on those videos. It looked spectacular. So yeah, we just had to crack on, a bit of road walking, but it was beautiful. I mean, it was just absolutely white everywhere, as you can probably see from the footage. It was sensational. Loved it, really did. But yeah, the time getting on was a bit of a concern. We weren't kidding ourselves. We knew that we weren't going to be getting to the bothy in daylight. Absolutely not a chance. You know, with the best will in the world, motoring as hard as we could, we would not be getting there in the light. So head torches at the ready. Bah. Aid had been saying he was having a bit of discomfort for a mile or so. We stopped at a bench.
We can have a head torch up now.
We've got to do it anyway, haven't we? So the toenail on Aid's little toe has come off. So we've just bobbed into this surgery, NHS surgery, see if they can do anything. This might not be good.
No idea really why I was kind of chuckling in that video. I think it just must have been a nervous laughter, some kind of reaction, hoping it wasn't going to be as bad as it was. But yeah, essentially he'd lost the toenail off his little toe. All the skin had come off around it as well. It was pretty minging. He was kind of hopping into this doctor's surgery. I've got to mention this surgery as well, because there really isn't, you know, no, if anyone from Laggan's watching, no disrespect, but there's pretty much nothing there. So what are the chances of having a NHS walk-in surgery there? But there it was. Wasn't actually that far off closing, I don't think, either. It was almost 5 o'clock by the time we got there. So yeah, he went in. Doctor very kindly saw him straight away and said, that's it, pretty much. You're done. Even if you could walk through the pain, which I'm sure he couldn't have done because he was in a lot of pain. He said you couldn't do it anyway because it'll get infected. There's no doubt about it. If you carry on walking for another 3 days, it will get infected. Simple as that. Yeah, Aid's walk was definitely over. Really gutting. I was gutted. Can't really imagine how gutted Aid was. I know he might not look like it on every one of the videos you've watched so far, but he was genuinely enjoying it. He really was. Hadn't done, as I say, anything like this before, and he was up for it. So yeah, really bad news. There was another lady in the doctors, an Australian lady of all things. Absolutely lovely. She offered to give us a lift to Newtonmore. Evidently, the bothy was well out of the equation by this point. So yeah, she gave us a lift to Newtonmore. Luckily enough, managed to find a really cheap place in Newtonmore for us to stay for the night. Nice place. Went to a lovely pub just down the road to get some food. It was phenomenal. I like to crack on, you know, hardcore when I'm on the trail, and you know, just eat the rehydrated foods and all that. Just have some raisins or whatever to keep me going. But no, if I get the chance to have some, you know, have a pie or a burger, I'd take it every time. Bacon butter, my God, yeah. I'm not really hardcore at all. I love my food, and this was phenomenal. I had what was it? Black pudding and haggis burger. It was amazing. And the sticky toffee pudding afterwards was possibly even better. So every cloud, as they say. We had a good meal, which we, you know, wouldn't have had if we'd gone to Dalnes, Shaleg, Bothy. So yeah, you have to look on the bright side. But overall, no, it was pretty bad news. Not a great night, really. So yeah, Aid's journey was over. So yeah, strange point in the trip. Really sad that Aid couldn't carry on. He was too. As I said in the previous videos, he's a really driven guy, but even Aid couldn't carry on through this. It was just a funny point, and it wasn't quite the same for me as well afterwards. I started the trip with Aid, completely expected to finish the trip with Aid, but obviously that wasn't going to happen now. I was gutted. Aid's one of my absolute best friends. He's a diamond guy, and yeah, I was gutted for him, and yeah, it just didn't seem quite right. That's not to say that I didn't enjoy the following 3 days. I did, but yeah, it just wasn't quite the same without Aid being there. I'm getting all soppy and sentimental now. But yeah, it's sad, you know. As I say, the two you start off and only one of you finishes. I'm going to start crying, so I'll leave it there. No, it was gutting. It was gutting. But yeah, the rest of the trip was still a lot of fun. But I just wish Aid had been there with me.